Hey guys, back here with another video. Um, just want to share with you some of my thoughts about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I want to share with you some of the good things about the game and some of the cons. So I guess you could say this is a little bit of a review. So the game's been out for about a month now, just roughly over a month, and I've put over, I believe, I want to say 90 hours into it at this point. I know a lot of people have more hours into it than me, but I'm pretty busy with my job, so I don't get a whole lot of time or as much time as I would want to play it. But I'm slowly getting there, because you could say I'm slowly putting in the hours. So at this point, I feel confident that I've played um, the game enough that I can give you guys a pretty decent review about what I think about it. So let's start with the good things first off. The game is gorgeous. First off, the art style they used really works well with a Nintendo Switch. Same with the Wii U version. I've seen the Wii U version. Even though the frame rate is not as smooth and some of the textures don't look as good as the Switch version, even on the Wii U, the art style works quite well with the system's capabilities. So on the Switch, it's absolutely amazing. Art style, like I said, is great. At first, when I first saw this game's trailer, a couple years ago when they first started teasing the game, when it was originally supposed to be a Wii U title only, before we had even heard of the Nintendo Switch, I wasn't really sure if this game was going to be that successful. I wasn't really sure about the art style. That was one of the big things I wasn't really liking. The art style looked a little childish to me at first, but I have to say now the game is done. They've improved it quite a bit from what we first saw when they were going to originally release it on the Wii U, and it turned out really great. It works well. I really like the art style now that I've been playing it for quite a bit of time. It's awesome. So the art style is pro in my book, very good thing. Now, I know a lot of people have been complaining about the frame rate or the frame drops in the game. That really isn't that big of an issue for me. I actually am impressed with how well the game plays, considering how big the world is. So that's another one of my pros. The world is huge, and the Switch has to render this world when you play the game. So taking into account that it's rendering this massive world, and the Wii U, sorry, not the Wii U, the Nintendo Switch isn't the most powerful system on the market. Obviously, it's not as powerful as, say, the PS4 and the Xbox One. It's honestly not that big of a gap in terms of power. It's not as powerful, but it's not like it's like light years behind or anything like that. It's still a fairly powerful console. It can hold its own. So just the fact that it handles this game as well as it does at this point, I'm pretty impressed, and I think it will get better, to be honest with you. As the months go on, Nintendo actually just released a update for this game, and it fixed a lot of frame rate drops. There still are places in the game where it can get kind of annoying and pretty bad at some points, but it's not that big of a deal. You're not going to encounter it very much at all. You'll see with the gameplay that I'm showing as I'm reviewing this. I don't believe you see hardly any frame rate drops at all as I'm playing. Maybe a couple here and there where there's some long grass and some trees and foliage in that, but not much at all. So the frame rate is not an issue for me. I know for some people they've made a big deal about it, but to be honest with you, I think those people are just really nitpicking. You hardly notice it. Like I said, there's a few places in the game where it's bad, and you do notice it, but I mean, those are just small little portions of the whole map. So maybe you'll be in that certain area for like, I don't know, 15 minutes, and then then you'll just leave. So it's not that big of a deal at all. So yeah, you might have like 15 minutes of poor frame drop if you happen to be exploring one small area, but like I said, that's just a small portion of the map that might have some small frame drops on it here and there. But in general, it's really good. fairly impressed. It runs, I think, at a smooth 30 frames per second most of the time. So I know it's not 60 or anything, but it's not that bad. Previous Zelda games have been worse than that. Ocarina of Time, I don't think, ran at 30 frames per second. I could be wrong. I haven't actually looked into it, but if it did, then that's fine, but it still didn't run at 60 frames per second. So some of the people that are complaining about, oh, like it doesn't run at 60 frames per second, well, I don't think too many other Zelda games have at all either, so I don't think it's that big of a deal for me personally. So the game also has lots of depth, so that's another really good thing I like about it. It's not like you run out of things to do quickly, like in some other games where it doesn't take long to accomplish things, and it's kind of just, the game kind of drags along and there's not a whole lot to do, and there's only one storyline, and once you're done that storyline you're kind of just left in the dark, and the game becomes not that much fun at that point. There's lots and lots of side quests that you can do. So there's the main quest of the game, which you can do at your own speed, which is nice. It's not like it's forcing you to go and complete the main quest first. You can pretty much do that at your leisure, and in the meantime you can do tons of different side quests. Every single village you run into, even just people that you meet roaming around in game, they give you side quests, they give you a lot of stuff to do, and when you usually complete those side quests you get some useful items that can help you out in your journey. You can get different weapons and stuff from completing side quests, different armors from completing side quests, so there's a lot of incentives to actually go ahead and do those side quests too, because you do get useful items from them. Besides the side quests, there's just so much other things to collect, lots of different items. Cooking is huge in this game. You can cook so many different dishes. There's lots and lots of mushrooms, different things to walk around, acorn, all kinds of stuff. It would take a long time for me just to list off all the things you can collect, just from going through the forest in this game, all over the open fields. You can collect frogs, fish, lizards, all kinds of stuff to make potions and elixirs. That adds a ton of depth to the game, so the game is very multi-dimensional. It's really, really good, and that's why it takes such a long time to complete the game. So if you want to go for 100% completion on this game, it's going to be really difficult, because like I said, there's a ton of stuff to do. There's a ton of different areas, a ton of chests scattered across the world that you just randomly find. So usually when I'm just in kind of a mood to not do one of the main quests or one of the side quests, I usually just go and explore, and it's very rewarding just exploring, not even bothering with any of the quests, just going around, seeing what you can find, killing enemies. I always stumble upon something I didn't know was there before. So every single area I go to, even if I've walked around that area for a long time beforehand, I'll always end up stumbling upon some path I didn't know was there, or climb up some mountain that I haven't climbed up before, and then I'll find like a chest or something hidden somewhere with a useful weapon or piece of armor or gold rupees. There's all these gold rupees in chests scattered throughout the game. Korok seeds, they're these seeds you can collect throughout the game, and you can use them to upgrade your inventory slots, which is really useful. So you can hold more weapons, hold more armor, things like that. And I think there's like 600 of them or something that you can find, which is crazy. There's over 100, I think there's about 120 shrines or so in the game, and shrines pretty much are challenges that you can complete, and every single time you complete 4 of them, you can either get another heart container or more stamina on your stamina meter. So the game just has so much depth, so I definitely think this game deserves all the hype that it got. I was kind of worried, to be honest with you, like I said earlier, when the game first was announced, the hype it was getting, I wasn't sure it was going to actually live up to that hype. And for me it does. For me it lives up to all the hype. I'm still playing this game, I'm still enjoying it, even after putting over 90 hours into the game. It's still just as fun as the first time I played it. So if you guys are looking into buying this game or thinking about picking up a Nintendo Switch or Wii U at some point for this game, it's definitely worth it. if you're debating whether or not you should go for the Wii U version or the Nintendo Switch version, I just hold out, buy Nintendo Switch once they're more readily available in stores, and go for the Nintendo Switch version because it's definitely worth it. Frame rates are a lot better. It looks a little bit better as well, and you might as well just get the new system because Nintendo's going to be supporting the Nintendo Switch, not the Wii U. So if you're going to buy a system just for the game, definitely buy the Nintendo Switch. If you already have a Nintendo Switch and don't have this game for some reason, go get it right now. Don't wait any longer. It's an amazing game. You won't be disappointed at all. So that's pretty much my thoughts. I know a lot of people have been kind of upset about how great the reviews have been. Some people that don't have the game, they're like, oh, I don't understand why this game is getting some reviews. It's not the most graphically advanced game, which you're right, it isn't. But for me personally, I definitely think it deserves the praise it's getting. I definitely think it deserves all those 10 out of 10 reviews it's getting. It's an awesome game. So those are my thoughts about it, guys. Hopefully this helped you out if you're debating whether or not you want to pick this up. Peace.